A Whisker Away is the latest film from Japanese anime studio Colorido, known for charming and colourful works such as Penguin Highway, projects that offer unique and fresh spins on familiar tropes and themes in anime. And A Whisker Away is no different, which takes the whimsical spirit and fantastical imagination often found in Studio Ghibli works, and lightly implements them into a bite-sized, tween-age romance story with a feline twist. A Whisker Away follows middle school girl Mio, who has a crush on a boy at her school called Hinode. Mio yearns to get closer to her crush, but is repeatedly rejected. So on one fateful night, Mio encounters a mysterious mask seller, who offers her a cat mask that transforms her into a cat whenever she wears it. But at the catch, that she may remain a cat forever if she outright rejects her human life. This leads Mio to taking on the form of Taro, a small white cat, which she uses to get closer to Hinode. As being a boy at his age, he feels more comfortable relaying his problems to a pet animal than he would necessarily a girl he doesn't really know. And so it falls to Mio to try and use what she learns from Hinode in her cat form, as a means to connect with him in her human form. The premise of A Whisker Away will probably be a bit too bizarre and out there for some people to really digest, but in a refreshing change of pace, A Whisker Away winds up being more focused on the character interactions and relationships, rather than being too worried about the fantasy world building aspect, which in my mind is both a good and bad thing. We see Mio receive her cat mask quite quickly, before moving into the interactions between her and Hinode. This really allows for the story to get moving, without getting too bogged down in exposition to set up the fantastical elements in more detail. But at the same time, I could see how a Studio Ghibli production would utilize those fantastical and whimsical elements in a more fluid way and transport the viewer to a world using visuals and music. A Whisker Away is more concerned with getting all of that out the way, in favour of your more typical slice of life drama and comedy, which is completely fine for what A Whisker Away is trying to be, as this bite-sized, inoffensive romance story. The characters of Mio and Hinode are generally pretty likeable and charming, with their antics often being quite funny, particularly with Mio in her cat form. The animation team allows for Mio to be quite malleable in her expressions, which are usually over the top and melodramatic, but that becomes part of the character's charm. As a result, the film's charm and personality certainly helps to subdue some of the slice of life cliches from ever sticking out too much. Thankfully, there is some time spent exploring Mio's home life with her parents, with her father having recently remarried. This focus on Mio's home life does a great deal in explaining the reason why she has some eccentric personality traits that other school kids find strange or off-putting, and it's this focus on her home life that is vital in grounding the character, and helps her feel believable amongst all the magical cat masks. On top of all of this, the animation is really quite stellar and beautifully drawn, with parts of the world, particularly the Shinto mythology-inspired locations, absolutely bursting to life with colour and impeccable shading. You could honestly leave the film playing for its visuals alone. A Whisker Away does falter a fair bit in its third act though, where Studio Colorido very quickly tries to resolve many of the plot threads and character arcs, leading to conflicts and resolutions with the mask seller and Hinode to end up feeling quite rushed. Subsequently, Colorido resorts to resolving a number of these plot threads with brief scenes at the end of the film or during the credits, severely lessening the impact that some storylines could have had if they were more fleshed out and developed. If A Whisker Away was maybe 20 minutes longer, I feel as though the story could have received the time it needed to explore Mio's relationship with her parents, friends, and the mask seller in more detail. Despite all this, A Whisker Away is a suitably warm, albeit brief distraction from the current chaos in the world. It is a movie bursting with charm and personality, even if it does fumble considerably in its third act. A welcome whimsical detour for those that need it in the quarantine era. Just don't go in expecting the next Your Name or Summer Wars. A Whisker Away gets a 6.8 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Monofix. Bye guys.